Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Drogs. This is Fully Painted Miniatures, and we are going to be doing a solo playthrough of Aeons End 2nd Edition, and we're going to be going against the Rageborne on Expert difficulty. So on Expert difficulty, every time the Rageborne has 4 Fury tokens, which are these things right here, and he starts the game with 1. He gets an extra attack from the strike deck. And on normal difficulty, after he strikes, you remove 3 Fury tokens from him. So typically he'll go from 4 to 1, 5 to 2. But on expert difficulty, he only loses 1. So if he has 4 Fury tokens, he loses 1, strikes, loses 1, goes back to 3, and then the next time he gets a Fury token, he strikes again. Or if he gets a bunch, 5, 6, he'll strike a bunch of times in a row and can really mess up your day. So this time I am not using randomizers. I'm going to be using a set store that I pre-selected. My store is going to be, or starts with Jade. It's a 2-cost gem that gains 2 power, generates 2 power. Vristwood Amber, a 3-cost gem that generates 2 power, but when you gain this, it can go to the top of your deck instead of the bottom of your discard pile. And Searing Ruby, a 4-cost gem that generates 2 power, but generates 3 power if you use it towards purchasing of a spell. I then, for my first relic, took Focusing Orb, a 4-cost relic that will focus any player's breach, or you can destroy it to gain 3 life for Gravehold. It's the only way to heal Gravehold in the starter deck. I then also took Mage's Talisman, a 5-cost relic that generates a charge for each of my mages for their special ability. For my first spell, I took Ignite, a 4-cost spell that deals 2 damage and generates a charge for your ally. And then I also took Amplify Vision, a 4-cost spell that deals 2 damage and then focuses your closed breach with the lowest cost. If all 4 of your breaches open, this becomes a 3 damage spell. And then I took Essence Theft as a 5-cost spell, deals 3 damage, and you can choose to discard one of your cards to gain 1 life. So that gives you a little bit of a healing ability. And then I also took Dark Fire, a 5-cost spell. Discard up to 2 cards in your hand, deal 3 damage for each card discarded in this manner. So the idea behind this store is that they're generally cheaper cards, except for the relics. But the gems are on the cheaper side, kind of gets that economy going really quick, really easily. The relics, I went with 2 of the more expensive ones, but 1 to gain charges for both players, 1 to focus breaches for both players, and a way to heal Gravehold. My spell selection are on the cheaper side as well. They're 2 4-costs and 2 5-costs. I didn't take a 6 or a 7 or a 3. This one helps me generate charges. This one helps me focus breaches. This one helps me heal. And this one helps me discard cards for extra damage. So this one can only deal 2. This one can deal up to 3. This one deals 3. And this one can deal up to 6 damage. I don't have any way to curate my deck in this store. So I'm going to be keeping all 10 of those starter cards, but I can discard them using Essence Theft and Dark Fire for heals and extra damage. All right, and as for mages, I'm taking Kadir as my first mage, the Breach Mage Delver. She has an Emerald Shard, which acts as a crystal, gaining 1 power, or she can choose to give either player 1 life. So that's a heal, which is very, very useful. Her special ability, Otherworldly Gate, that player may return up to 3 spells from their discard pile into their hand. That player may then prep up to 2 spells to each of their open breaches this turn. So that way you can prep up to 8 spells if you have every breach open. And she can activate that during either player's main phase. Her first breach starts open. Her second breach has a 3-cost to open. Her third is 7, and her fourth is 7. So she's relatively easy to open breaches with. Our second player is Lash, the Breach Mage Scout. He starts with a Court Shard, which gains a power. It then lets you reveal the top card of the turn order deck. If it's a player card, this generates 2 power. If it's a Nemesis card, you can then take that Nemesis card and place it on the bottom of the deck. So you get an advantage either way. And then that can activate, and then his special ability, Quicken Thought, can also be activated during either player's main phase. That player can then take their turn order card and shuffle it back into the turn order deck. And then they take 1 damage. So it allows you to shuffle the turn order deck, but by shuffling a player card back in there, that mage will then get 3 activations that round instead of 2. And you can use this multiple times in the same round. I have done that before where I actually gave a mage 4 activations in that single round because I was able to generate charges so easily with the cards that I had available. So that's pretty much it. Everything's shuffled, so let's get started. All right, Nemesis is going to go first. Rageborne. First card is the Provoker. It is a minion. Persistent, Gravehold suffers damage equal to the number of Fury tokens that the Rageborne has. I'm doing a little bit, if you've watched my previous videos, I'm doing a little bit of a different setup today. Same table, but I'm actually on the opposite side of it. So it's a little bit, I got a little bit more things in my way, but it let me get a slightly better position for my camera. So I think this is going to work out better, but still figuring out exactly where everything's supposed to be. All right. Next card is player 2. That is Lash. He's going to prep his Spark, and then he's going to generate 3 power with his crystals, a 4th with the Court Shard, but he gets to reveal the top card. It is Lash's, again, number 2. So this is going to generate 5 power. So with 5 power, I'm going to buy a Vrisswood Amber, which will go on top of the deck, and a Jade. So Jade will go there, and then those on top. 2, 3, 4, 5. So Lash's next turn will be a Vrisswood Amber, 3 crystals, and a Spark. And it is Lash's turn. So first he will cast the Spark, doing 1 damage to the Provoker, leaving him with 4 life. He will then prep another Spark, and then he will use his gems to generate 5 power. And he's going to do the exact same thing. He's going to buy another Vrisswood and another Jade. Get that economy going. And then his next turn, which won't be till the next round, he will have a Vrisswood, a Jade, a Crystal, a Court Shard, and a Spark. And then Kadir is going to go next. She's going to prep her Spark. The Emerald Shard, there's no damage to anybody, so she's just going to use that to generate power, which is 4. And she's going to use that to buy a Searing Ruby. And then the Nemesis is going to go. First, the Provoker acts. Now, luckily, the Rageborne only has 1 Fury token, so the Provoker is going to do 1 damage to Gravehold, bringing it to 29. And then he draws a card. Agony Field. To discard, destroy a card in your hand that costs 2 power or more. I don't know if I've ever seen this one before. Power 2, Unleash. Any player discards 3 cards in hand and then draws 1 card. So I have to destroy a spell card, or a store card, rather, to discard that. I don't know if that's worth it or not. It does unleash, though, and kind of wastes a turn, so I guess I'd probably... It's probably worth sacrificing a Jade for. I guess I'll just do that immediately. So I will destroy this Jade, which will eliminate the Agony. I actually put it in the discard pile anyway, so that works out. All right, Kadir is going next. She's going to cast her Spark, dealing 1 damage to the Provoker. I forgot to draw her hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's going to have 3 crystals and 2 sparks. She's going to use the 3 crystals to open her second breach and prep both sparks. So that's it for the first round. Not bad. And her next hand, 3 crystals, Searing Ruby, and an Emerald Shard. I've definitely had worse first rounds than that one. So we got the Provoker on the table. He's got 3 life. I have 3 damage queued up, or prepped. Rageborne still has 1 Unleash token, full life, 1 damage to Gravehold. And I'm pretty happy with the store selection so far. Okay, Lash is going next. He's going to cast his Spark, deal 1 damage to the Provoker. He will then prep a Spark, and he's going to generate 3 power here. Quartz Shard is 4. It is 5. So he got 5 power once again. I'm going to buy a Dark Fire. And his next turn, he's going to have a Vristwood Amber, a Jade, 2 crystals, and a Spark. Kadir goes next. That is Lucky. She's going to cast both Sparks, killing the Provoker. She has nothing to prep, and let's see, there's nothing to heal. So that's worth 3 power, 4 power, 6 power, 7 towards a spell. Very nice. So she's going to buy Amplify Vision and a Vristwood Amber for 7. 2, 3, 4, 5. And her next hand will be Vristwood Amber, 3 crystals, and a Spark. Kadir's going next. He's going to cast Spark, dealing First Blood to the Rageborne. 69 life. Technically, First Blood was the Gravehold, but players still have full life. He's then going to prep a Spark, and he's going to generate 6 power with the Vristwood Amber, Jade, and 2 crystals. So for 6 power, I'm going to take a Focusing Orb and another Jade. Three, 4, 5. This next turn, 3 crystals, Dark Fire, and a Spark. Nemesis goes next. There's nothing on the board. Unrelenting Ire, Unleash. So he's going to gain a Fury token. If there are 2 Nemesis turn order cards in the discard pile, then unleash 2 additional times. There is not. There is only 1. So that is Lucky. There's the second one. Okay, Nemesis goes again. Unleash. Brings him up to 3 Fury tokens, and Gravehold suffers 3 damage, dropping Gravehold to 26. All right, next, Kadir is going to go next. She's going to prep Spark, and she's going to generate 5 power. With that 5 power, she's going to get a Vristwood Amber and a Jade. So her next turn, she's going to have 2 Sparks, an Amplify Vision, Searing Ruby, and a Vristwood Amber. Pretty good. I am very happy with how this game is going so far. Gravehold took some damage, definitely got some unleashes off, but all in all, pretty solid. And I have a couple spells that are already in hand, Amplify Vision, Dark Fire. Very happy overall. Okay. First is going to be Kadir. She's going to cast Spark and deal 1 damage to the Rageborne. She's then going to prep both of... It's worth 4 power, 5 towards the spell. She's going to prep Amplify Vision and a Spark. And then with this, she's going to generate 5 power and buy an Essence Theft. She's going to have to hold on to that last Spark. Draws 4 cards, and she's going to get 3 crystals and an Emerald Shard. Nemesis goes next. Nothing on the board. Cleave. Rageborne strikes. So his strike card, Greyfold, suffers 5 damage, dropping it to 21. Now the good news is, because he Rageborne did strike, he still loses a Fury token. I think that's the only time that happens, but that brings him back down to 2, which is a lot more manageable than 3. Help him so for now on, once he starts striking, he's just gonna keep striking, and you really can't get back from behind that 8 ball on that. So the longer I can hold off on that and just help me get my decks built up and going, the better. All right, that goes in the discard. And Rageborne goes again. Nothing on the board. Power 3. The player with the most prep spells suffers 2 damage for each of their prep spells. So that's not going to activate for a while. Since that was the second card, it won't activate at all in the next round. So it'll be the round after that. Okay. Lash is going to go next. He's going to cast his Spark, dealing 1 damage to the Rageborne, bringing him to 67. He's then going to prep Dark Fire, and then spend 3 to open his second breach, and prep Spark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in his next hand, he's going to have Focusing Orb, Spark, Quartz Shard, Crystal, and a Bristwood. And he does get to go again next. Not bad. So, Focusing Orb is going to focus his third breach. Cast a Spark, that's going to do 1 damage, bringing him to 66. Then Dark Fire is going to be cast, and he's going to discard the Crystal and the Spark along with that to do 6 damage, bringing the Rageborne to 60. So, very, very high damage spell for early in the game. That's the best. Dark Fire, I didn't like that card that much at first until I realized at 5 cost you can get it very early, first round, second round, and that will one-shot most of the minions that get drawn. 6 damage is very, very high for early in the game. I think the highest damage spell is 8. And that's with discarding Sapphire Crystal. All right, and then I still have 2 3 power, which becomes 4. So he still generates 4 power with which to buy, what do I want? I can get Amplify Vision, help me up with my breaches, Focusing Orb, help me up with my breaches, Ignite, or Searing Ruby. I'm going to go Focusing Orb again. I want to get a few of those going. All right. And Kadir's going to go next. She's going to cast Spark and Amplify Vision. That's going to do 3 damage, bringing Rageborne to 57. Very happy about that. It's also going to focus her third breach. She's then going to prep Spark, and she's going to generate 4 power. All the players still have full life. And with that 4 power, she's going to buy a Focusing Orb. So I kind of want all the Focusing Orbs just because of the life they can generate for Greyfold. It's an extra 15 life if you destroy all 5 of them, which is the equivalent of having 45 life for Greyfold. And because Rageborne strikes so often, that is a key part of this strategy for this game, is to get all 5 of those Focus Orbs get everything, all my breaches open, and then destroy all 5. So that I have the ability to cast lots of spells, and it basically gives 45 life to Gravehold before I lose the game, which is a huge, huge buff. And with that strike deck, you need it. That's typically how I lose, is Gravehold gets destroyed. I don't usually get players killed. All right, we're starting with Lash. I didn't draw anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so he's getting 2 Jades, a Versewood, and 2 Crystals. So that is worth 8 power. What do I want to do for 8 power? I think I want... that's tough. I'm going to take another Dark Fire and a Versewood. I wanted to grab a Mage's Talisman right there, but I think I want to get both players to have at least 2 Dark Fires in their deck before I do that. So his next hand, Versewood, 3 Crystals, and a Spark. Nemesis is going next. So first we take a power token off the bleed static, then draw a card. Venomite. This is a minion. It's a creature. Let me just slide these up here. We'll do it that way. Yeah. Can you still see that on camera? Yeah, that's fine. Because this is just the discard pile. So Venomite is a creature. It has 9 health. Persistent, so once every turn, every time the Rageborne activates, the player with the lowest life suffers 2 damage, or a player may discard a prep spell to cost 3 or more. So let's give him 9 life. 7, 8, 9. Okay. And that ends his turn. So now we're going to Kadir. She's going to cast that Spark and deal 1 damage to the Venomite, bring him to 8. 2, 3, 4, 5. And her hand is 3 Crystals, a Versewood, and a Jade. So that's 7 power. So I will take a Dark Fire and a Jade. Two, 3, 4, 5. So her next turn, Spark, Essence Theft, Searing Ruby, Versewood Amber, and Amplify Vision. So even now, 3 spells that I don't have quite the ability to do anything with. Okay, Lash is next, so he's going to prep his Spark, and then he's going to generate 5 power. And with that 5 power, he's buying a Mage's Talisman. Start generating charges. And his next turn, Dark Fire, 2 Sparks, Crystal, and a Focusing Orb. So that Crystal actually is kind of useless, but that's okay. Nemesis is going to go next. All right, so first we take the power token off of the bleed static, and then the Venomite activates. So one player can... I don't have a spell card to discard, so I'm going to have Lash take 2 damage, and that's going to leave him with 8 life. Which is fine. And then draw a card. Ooh, another creature. Needlemaw, 11 life, persistent. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. So creatures are kind of annoying because they essentially are damage shields, preventing you from doing damage to the boss. So there's 11 life there, 8 there. So I have to do 19 points of damage before I can even start attacking Rageborne again, because their abilities are just too powerful. But that's all right. That's the game. All right, so we have Kadir going next. She's going to prep Amplify Vision, Essence Theft. And then she can generate 4 power, 5 towards a spell. I could focus to prep that Spark, but I just don't see it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to generate 5 and buy a Dark Fire. She's going to draw 4, 2, 3, 4. She can discard that with the Essence Theft. Emerald Shard, Focusing Orb, another Spark, and a Crystal. So overall, let me pour myself another cup of coffee real quick. I'm feeling pretty good. I think I always give about mid-game. I always try to give myself odds on how I think I'm doing, whether I can win the game or not. The best I've ever done at this point, I would say, is 50-50. I actually feel like I'm like at 80%, maybe 70% chance of winning. Rageborne, I've got him down 13 life, which is pretty good. Gravehold's taking 9 damage, not great, but I have 4 focusing orbs already in my deck, which can generate more than that, more 12 points of healing. Yeah, there's some stuff on the board. Okay, bleed static, if that were to pop up first, that would do a little bit of damage. I do have healing ability though. Lash has 2 dark fires, Kadir has 1. So there's definitely damage potential. And I feel like my economy's in pretty good shape. And the focusing orbs are going to help me open up all my breaches. And I just need to get, at this point, I would like to get maybe another Searing Ruby for Lash. I want to get 2 Mage's Talismans for each of them. Lash has 1, Kadir has none. At least 1 Ignite for each of them. And yeah, I feel pretty good after that, actually. So let's say 2 Ignites, 2 Mage's Talismans. All right, Kadir's going to go first. She's going to cast Essence Theft and Amplified Vision. That's worth 5 damage. And she's going to do that to the Venomite. This also focuses her 3rd breach. And she can discard a card. She's going to discard the Crystal. And that is going to generate 1 point of healing to give to Lash. She's going to prep 2 sparks. She's going to use her focusing orb to open 3rd breach. I'm actually going to prep this spark to that 3rd breach. And then she's going to use her Emerald Shard to generate another point of healing for Lash. So he's back up at 10. Both my players are now back at 10 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So feeling good. All right. She's got Jade, Darkfire, Spark, and 2 crystals on her next turn, which is now. She's going to cast both sparks. This spark does a bonus damage because of the 3rd breach, so it turns into 3 damage, which is actually enough to kill the Venomite. So that's what I'm talking about. Very, very nice. She's then going to prep Dark Fire to the 3rd breach and spark, and she's still going to generate 4 power, and she's going to buy that focusing orb. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next turn, Jade, Vrisswood, 3 crystals. Lash is going next. He's going to cast Spark, deal 1 damage to the Venomite. Or no, Needlemaw, sorry. Bringing him down to 10 life. He's then going to prep Dark Fire, Spark. He's going to use a focusing orb on the 3rd breach. Prep the spark to that, and then this crystal just gets essentially discarded. It generates 1 power, which is useless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And his next turn, Dark Fire, Jade, Court Shard, Vrisswood, and a focusing orb. But Nemesis is going to go next. Ooh, rough. Okay, bleed static goes off. I forgot about that. Or I wouldn't have prepped all those sparks. So Lash is going to take 6 damage because he has 3 prep spells. Luckily, I do have heals. So, not the end of the world, but bam, wow, that hurts. All right, and then the Needlemaw does 2 damage to Gravehold, dropping it to 19. And then we draw a card. Invoke Carnage. To discard, spend 7 power. Power 2, unleash. Any player suffers 1 damage, plus an additional damage for every Fury token that the Rageborne has. Luckily, I still have the Rageborne down at 2 Fury tokens. I don't know how that's happened. Very, very, very lucky. But that's going to do 3 damage, plus more, potentially, when it goes off. All right. And Nemesis goes again. So, Needlemaw does 2 more damage to Gravehold. We pull a power token off of Invoke Carnage and draw a card. Blood Cry. Power 2, unleash 4 times to discard, lose 4 charges. Unleash 4 times is super dangerous. That would bring the 6 Fury tokens. So we really, 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 really want to prevent that. All right. Next, Lash is going to go. I don't even have stuff I really want to discard. But we're going to cast these 2 sparks. First of all, it's going to bring Needle Maw to 8 life. I think I'm going to hold on to that Dark Fire for now. I'm going to prep a second one. Focus Orb on the 3rd breach. And then I'm going to generate, that's 5 power. There is no card there. I guess I'll shuffle so that I can use the Court Shard ability. I don't know if this is correct or not per the rules. That would probably have to be an FAQ or a errata question. Hold on one sec. I just want to check on my dogs, make sure they're safe. But, yep, it's a player card, so I'm going to generate an extra power point. What's going on, guys? You healthy? You safe? Oh, he's fine. He's just got a big stick. He's being a good boy. And they're fine. They're just fighting over a stick. Okay, so this is going to generate 4, 5, 6 power. So for 6 power, he's going to take the last Focusing Orb and a Jade. 2, 3, 4. So now that I got all those Focusing Orbs off the board, part of the oh nice. And his next hand is Jade, Verswood, 2 crystals, and a Mage's Talisman. It's a great hand since I already got 2 Dark Fires up there. So part of the reason I wanted to get all those Focusing Orbs off the store as quickly as possible is I want to use them to open up all the breaches and then start destroying them, because that's really the only deck curation I have. So I wanted to make sure I got those off the board early. All right. So first is going to be Kadir. She's going to cast Spark for 1 damage. Dark Fire, sacrificing 2 crystals, or discarding 2 crystals, is going to do 7. So that's a total of 8 damage, which is exactly what the Needle Maw has, and that kills the Needle Maw. So very nice. She then generates 5 power. It's not enough to get rid of Invoke Carnage. But I will use it to buy 2 charges. Just to try to get that out of there as soon as possible. Blood Cry would just be, that could be a game. That could cost me the game right there. And her next turn, oh, I didn't discard these, yeah. Those should be on the bottom. Next turn, Dark Fire, Essence Theft, Searing Ruby, Verswood Amber, and a Crystal. Okay, nice. So, Lash is going first. We're first going to cast Dark Fire and sacrifice 2 crystals, or discard 2 crystals, sorry. Misspoke once again, dealing 6 damage, bringing Rageborne to 51. He's then going to use Mage's Talisman to generate 2 charges, which I will then discard all 4 charges to get rid of Blood Cry. I do not want to mess with that. Now, he only generates 4 power, so again, I can't get rid of Invoke Carnage. Not this turn, anyway. So with 4 power, he's going to buy an Ignite. 2, 3, 4, 5. And his next turn, 3 crystals, Verswood, and a Spark. And Nemesis goes next. So I did not get rid of Invoke Carnage, unfortunately. So that is an Unleash. So Rageborne gains a Fury token. Oh, which happens first. Yeah. Any player suffers 1 damage plus 1 for each additional Fury token. So that's 4 damage. Kadir is going to take that, dropping her to 6. So she has 6 life. Lash has 4. So not the best. I didn't get rid of everything, but I got rid of the Blood Cry, which was the big thing I needed to avoid. Oh, and he draws a card as well. Lay Waste. Unleash twice. Any player suffers 2 damage, so Kadir is going to take that. So they're both at 4 damage, 4 life. So I need to now get lucky because he's going to strike twice. So the first strike card, Gravefold suffers 3 damage, bringing it to 14. Any player suffers 1. Kadir is going to take that. And that removes 1 Fury token. I then put this back in the deck, shuffle it, and we'll see what we get. Some of them aren't so bad. One of them just makes you discard prep spells. Some of them attack Gravefold, some of them attack players. A lot of them do both, but I think one of them causes the player with the lowest life to take a certain amount of damage, and that could potentially exhaust the player. Okay, same thing. Gravefold suffers 3 damage. Bring it to 11. Any player suffers 1. So now they're both at 3 life. So, not great. And that removes that 4th strike token. So Rageborne goes back to 3 Fury tokens. Not great. So he definitely made a comeback there. Both my mages are at 3 life. Gravehold's down to 11. But I have all of the focusing orbs. So we're a couple of rounds away still from me using those. Because I do want to open up all those breaches. Might grab an Amplify Vision for each of them. But not the end of the world. I really like where my decks are at this point. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to recalculate back down to 50-50 though. Okay, Lash next. Lash is going to... How much is 3? He's going to discard 2. He's going to discard a Spark and a Crystal. And deal 6 damage with Darkfire. Bringing Rageborne to 45. Not terrible. And there's nothing on the board, so that's good. He's then going to generate 4 power and buy an Amplify Vision. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His next turn, 2 focusing orbs, 2 sparks, and a crystal. And Kadir goes next. She's going to prep Dark Fire and Essence Theft. And she's going to generate 5 power, 6 towards a spell. And she's going to grab Ignite and a Jade. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 sparks, focusing orb, amplify vision, and emerald shard. And Nemesis goes next. He's got nothing on the board though. Ooh, Dispel, unleash twice. And the player with the most expensive spell discards their most expensive spell. So I can choose Darkfire or Essence Theft. Darkfire will do 7 damage with a double discard. Essence Theft will do 3 damage plus a point of healing for a single discard. Oh, man, I hate to do this, but I think I need the healing. So I'm going to keep the Essence Theft. And then Rageborne's going to strike twice. Gravehold suffers 3 damage, dropping it to 8. Any player suffers 1. Lash is going to take 1. Oh, I got to shuffle. So that removes a Fury token. Yeah, so once you get to the tier 3, so all the Rageborne attacks, they have these little tier numbers. This is a tier 2. The first 3 rounds are always tier 1 in a 2-player game. And then 4 through 7, 4 through 8 are tier 2. Something like that. And then 9 through 12 or 13 are tier 3. If you survive all, you automatically win. I've never even gotten close, especially on expert difficulty. Basically, usually the first or second round of tier 3, I lose the game. So you really need to win before that. Okay, Gravehold suffers 5 damage. So that's not a game ender. But Gravehold's down to 3 life, which means I have to start sacrificing focus orbs. I cannot use them to just open up my deck, my breaches, because yeah, I mean this strike deck just does a ton of damage to Gravehold. You notice not a ton of damage came from anything other than this deck. This did probably 20 of that 27 damage. So Rageborne really likes to strike Gravehold. But hey, I survived. So now Rageborne still has over half life, has 45 life. I definitely don't love my spell amounts right now or my charge generation. So we will see. Okay. Lash is going to go first. He's going to prep both sparks. He's going to use 1 focusing orb to focus that 3rd breach. I'm actually going to move that spark over. And then he's going to destroy the second one to give 3 life to Gravehold, bringing it up to 6. And then that last crystal is just useless. 2, 3, 4, 5. And his next hand, he's going to have 2 Jades, Firstwood, a Focusing Orb, and a Court Shard. Okay, Nemesis goes next, nothing on the board. Unleash twice and Gravehold suffers 3 damage. That'll probably kill me. Or place the most recently discarded minion back in play. Definitely doing that one. So Needlemaw comes back. I pretty much always do the minion one, at least on Rageborne. Unleashing twice with damage to Gravehold, I mean, that could be potentially 13 damage to Gravehold off that 1 card. So, yeah, no. We'll just bring the Needlemaw back. Okay. Kadir. Going to cast Essence Theft, dealing 3 damage. And she's going to discard Spark along with that to give 1 life to Lash, bring him back up to 3. And this brings Needlemaw from 11 to 8. She's going to prep Amplify Vision and Spark. She's going to destroy the Focusing Orb for 3 life to Gravehold. And she's going to use the... What are these down here? I remember buying those, yeah. Let me know if I just did something really wrong. I remember buying those. I just wasn't shuffling those in, I guess. And she's going to restore 1 life to herself. Bring her back up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jade, 2 crystals, Focusing Orb, and Ignite. Alright. Lash is going to go next. He's going to cast both Sparks. That's going to do 3 damage because of the bonus from the 3rd breach. That brings Needlemaw down to 5. Doesn't have anything to prep. He's going to cast Focusing Orb to focus his 4th breach. And this generates 6 power, 7 Nemesis card. He's going to put on the bottom. So that is 7 power. He's going to buy Mage's Talisman and a charge. I need to start getting there. Special abilities going. So I would like to get like one more Ignite for each of them. One more Ignite, one more Essence Stuffed for each player. I would like to buy all the Mage's Talismans if possible. And then everything else would just be charges. So he has Ignite, Dark Fire, 2 crystals, and a Mage's Talisman. So that's pretty decent. Kadir's going to go next. Okay. So she has Amplify Vision, which is going to focus the 4th breach. Man, almost. We're so close. If I could use this first, the Focusing Orb, I'd be able to kill the Nidomaw. I don't think it works that way, though. I think you have to cast them first, right? I don't have the Quick Play cards. Yeah, no. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to cast both of these. This is 3 damage. That does 1. Leaving Nidomaw with 1 life. And it focuses that breach. She is then going to use the Focusing Orb to open her 4th breach. And then prep Ignite. And then with this 4 power remaining, who do I want to buy an Ignite? Yes, I do. She's going to buy Ignite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next turn, Dark Fire, 2 crystals, Spark, and a Jade. Okay, Nemesis is going to go next. Nidomaw is going to do 2 damage to Gravehole, dropping it to 7. And we get another creature, Scorn, 9 life, persistent. Gravehold suffers 3 damage or unleash twice. So I do need to get rid of these 2 because unleashing twice is not an option. So that's 5 damage to Gravehold every activation that Rageborne gets. And I have 1 spell prepped. It's enough to kill Nidomaw, but man, I need to get rid of that Scorn. At least before the 2nd activation, or I'm in trouble. And I need to get rid of that Nidomaw before the 1st. Because I already did heal Gravehold, what, 3 times? Twice? Not good. Okay. Oh, damn it. 5 damage to Gravehold. I just lost the game. Damn it. Unleash twice. The player with the most open breaches destroys 4 cards in hand or suffers 4 damage. So that's Kadir. She's going to destroy the Jade, Spark, 2 crystals. Otherwise she'd be exhausted. Let's see what we get. Gravehold suffers 5 damage and I lost the game. Alright. That sucked. I really thought this was a solid strategy, but I didn't even get close to getting my special abilities up. And I really needed my special abilities to start being up like a turn before. So I liked the Dark Fire. That gave me enough firepower. Probably should have just kept it to 1 each instead of 2 each. I should have gotten the Ignites a little earlier and the Amplify Vision. At least 1 each of those a little earlier. Essence stuff was fine. Focusing Orbs were fine. I mean, I'm happy with the Mage's Talismans. I kind of wish I got a couple Searing Rubies earlier, but very happy overall with my selection. And I'm actually pretty happy with how the Nemesis deck came out. Turn order deck was not the best. I feel like I should be able to play this again with the exact same setup. I don't think I would really change anything. Maybe swap out Essence stuff for something. Or Searing Ruby. Because the Searing Ruby didn't really come into play. I didn't really have any 3-cost cards. So it wasn't really a factor, but maybe I would swap out the Searing Ruby for a Sapphire so that I had the option to generate 3 power with a charge. If I happen to have... Because I need more charges. Even though I had the Ignites and the Mage's Talisman, I only got the one here. So, yeah, what do you guys think? I think I'll swap out the Searing Ruby for Sapphire in the next game. Should I swap out heroes or mages? I never got to use their special abilities, so it really wouldn't make much of a difference. And I like her. I like the abilities a lot on their 2 unique starting cards. The healing from the Emerald Shard and the Court Shard, affecting the turn deck and getting him some extra power. I really don't see how I would do that. Switching mages would help. So I think I'll probably shoot another video, but that's probably it for now. Yeah. All right. I'll try it again. I'll just swap out the Searing Ruby for the Sapphire, and everything else I'm going to leave the same for the next one. And we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. And yeah, have a great day. Thanks, guys.